Hi there guys, this is Thewmetat and welcome to my Optimum Aggressive Recon Loadout video. Okay, here is a clip in the background showing off my favourite Aggressive Recon Loadout. However, before I begin, I would like to say that you could make any sniper rifle work in an Aggressive Recon role. The sniper rifles I've picked out are merely the ones which are statistically best. Also, the most important factor in choosing a sniper rifle is whether you're comfortable using it, and so in this case, if you think it looks and sounds cool, these are usually very important factors, and are often more important than the actual stats. Another crucial factor about becoming an aggressive recon is that once you've got used to a particular weapon or scope magnification, sticking to that is vital, because once you've worked out the bullet drop of the sniper rifle, in your muscle memory, it stays there forever, allowing you to get headshots faster, and in other words, die less. If you change your rifle often, this just messes around with your muscle memory, and so you won't be able to get any headshots, completely ruining your game, so stick to one gun. Also, changing your scope magnification can do exactly the same thing, so stick to a single scope magnification also. For aggressive recon, I would recommend a 6x scope. Okay, let's take a look at the best sniper rifles for an aggressive recon loadout. Okay, in this first comparison, it's the M40A5 versus the 338 Recon. As you can see, the M40A5 fires rounds 25% faster. Now, this is a crucial benefit because it means, essentially, in an aggressive recon situation, which is quite close quarters based, that you can kill more enemies if your targeting is good. It also has a much larger magazine, which is vital because you won't spend all your time reloading, and it reloads faster in every form, so this means that you won't spend your time reloading either. However, the 338 Recon's damage drop-off ends 50% further, which to be honest isn't much of an advantage because in an aggressive recon situation this doesn't matter at all. Its bullets fly 8% further also doesn't matter in an aggressive recon role. Its bullets flying faster does matter, however, because it means if targets are running, they're easier to headshot. Also, its hipfire being better in every single manner is a crucial benefit because it means when hipfiring you have a higher accuracy. This means that the M40A5 and the 338 Recon make quite a good match, but for most situations the M40A5 will win because of its reloading. However, the 338 Recon does sound absolutely awesome and it looks really cool with its bullpup design, which means it's got a better hipfire. So it's really personal preference, but for me personally, I chose the M40A5. Another good comparison between aggressive recon sniper rifles is the M40A5 and the Gold Magnum. The M40A5 has a bigger magazine in this case also, which gives it a clear advantage in close quarter combat for firing a lot. It also reloads faster, which for the same reasons as the 338 Recon gives it a distinct advantage over its competitor, the Gold Magnum. The Gold Magnum has a drop-off 50% further, and its bullets fly further. This means it is better suited for longer range combat. However, the Gold Magnum's bullets fire 21% faster, which is almost a quarter faster than the M40A5, making headshotting while people are running much easier. The most major disadvantage, however, with the Gold Magnum is that it has a severely shorted magazine, which makes it difficult to use. But if you can negate this penalty by diligent reloading, then the bullets flying faster might give you a key advantage in close quarters combat. Another interesting comparison to make is between the M40A5 and the Scout Elite. Although the M40A5 does 61% more damage and has an 83% bigger magazine with 35% less bullet drop and a faster reload time in every category, the Scout Elite fires bullets 5% faster and its bullets fly 33% faster. The Scout Elite also has a better hipfire in every category. So some people might argue that the Scout Elite is better suited to the aggressive recon loadout because even though the Scout Elite has to two-shot people above 100 meters, an aggressive recon shouldn't really be killing people above 100 meters. But, in my opinion, the M40A5 is a better loadout because it gives you more variety and it means that your loadout is more variable in the situations you have, making it a better sniper rifle to use. The Scout Elite, although it looks really cool and angular, I don't like it because of these reasons, so I chose the M40A5. The final comparison between the best sniper rifles for the aggressive recon category would be the M40A5 versus the FYJS. The M40A5 does 61% more damage at long range, fires bullets 11% faster, and reloads 17% faster when there is no bullet in the chamber. The FYJS, however, has bullets flying 31% faster, which, as with the 8 Magnum, is a crucial benefit because it means you can headshot enemies easier while they're running. The FYJS also reloads 4% faster when there is a bullet in the chamber, which kind of evens up the reload battle there. The FYJS has 39% bullet drop, less bullet drop, but this isn't really an advantage because once you learn a sniper rifle, you can kind of counter for this bullet drop. The FYJS's damage ends 10% further, but this doesn't really matter because it's a 2-shot kill anyway. The FYJS also looks really, really cool. So it's just personal preference really, but I chose the M40A5 because it does more damage at range, making it more versatile. So for the same reason as that I didn't use the Scout Elite, I don't use the FYJS. So now you've heard which sniper rifles best suit the aggressive recon role, and the advantages and disadvantages of each. It is time for you to make your choice. The best way to do this is to unlock each and every one and get the feel with them. You will come across one which you really like or always do well with. Make no mistake, by having the best loadout, this does not mean that you will succeed in any way without practice. Although I only show you the good clips, when I play I often make errors, just as every player, so just remember that. Once you find the rifle for you, you must practice until you get that muscle memory, which allows you to perform rapid headshots. By becoming familiar with one rifle, it means you'll be aware of every aspect, both advantage and disadvantage, and be able to counter that. For an aggressive recon, however, the same basic loadout with the rifle should always be the same. So, once you've chosen your sniper rifle, there are a number of key attachments which are vital to your loadout. The flash hider, for example, is crucial because it means that your weapon muzzle flash is completely eliminated. This means that you're much harder to spot on the minimap, and the flash hider does not have any negative effects on the weapon, so it's better than using a suppressor because the suppressor decreases muzzle velocity, thus increasing bullet drop, which makes the weapon harder to use. Some might argue that this doesn't matter with an aggressive recon because you're dealing in close quarters situations anyway, so the bullet drop doesn't matter. However, I prefer to use a flash hider because it's just a hassle to learn a new type of bullet drop for a weapon, and it's just easier, personally. Okay, the laser sight then increases your hipfire accuracy because it means in those close quarter situations when you really need the kill, it's much easier because you can see where your weapon's aiming. So that's just really for survivability. And then the straight bolt isn't really essential because with an aggressive recon you should scope out after you've killed an enemy, but it just adds something to the weapon and it doesn't have any negative effects. So this is the loadout that you should apply to every single sniper rifle once you've decided which one you have, and practice and get really, really good at, because they don't actually affect the weapon in such a manner. The laser sight may get you spotted a bit more, but that's countered by the flash hider, which reduces the amount of time you're spotted. So this is a really good general loadout, which I would recommend. Now that we've got the general loadout sorted, we need to take a look at the scopes which you're going to use for your sniper rifle. The only two potential scopes which you could use are the 6x scope and the 8x scope, which are both very good, but in the end it comes down to personal preference on which one you're going to use. And here we take a look at the stats with the advantages and the disadvantages of each respective scope. So, the scope comparison is the 6x magnification versus the 8x magnification. The advantages of the 6x scope would be that it's more suitable for the aggressive recon style with less zoom, and this is important because it means that you can pinpoint your headshots faster and it's less confusing when you're scoping in rapid situations. The disadvantages would be that both scopes have scope glint, which doesn't happen with a 4x scope, but personally I don't think the 4x scope could be used properly on a sniper rifle with an aggressive recon, because it just doesn't give you enough variety and ease of use. Also, I think that the 6x scope has unclear markings, which make it difficult to use, but I think that it's still better than the 8x scope, because the 8x scope has an excess magnification, which is just confusing when you're scoping in. The advantage of the 8x scope then would be that the clearer markings for long shots exist, which means that in a long range situation using an 8x scope is more variable. Also, the 8x scope looks pretty cool, and even though that sounds stupid, it's quite an important factor for which one you're going to use. Ultimately, though, I use the 6x scope because I really battle with using a greater magnification. It just confuses me in close quarter situations. Okay, here I've recorded a clip of the 6x scope just to give you an impression of what it looks like, and you might see why I like it because of the nice zoom magnification that it has, which makes it ideal for aggressive recon. And here is the 8x scope, which I find quite hard to use, but as you can see the markings are quite clear, which makes it easier to use for longer ranges. So it's really up to personal preference, just make your choice based on these clips. Now once you've chosen your scope, based on the information I've given, ultimately practice is the most important thing. As you can see on the clip in the background, I've got quite used to the 6x scope. Unfortunately though, I had to cut up this kill streak, which is a bit of a shame because it was quite a nice one. But anyway, the next thing you have to do is choose a secondary weapon, which is quite important because it is what you rely on in your life and death situations when your main rifle fails you. Now the secondary weapon can either be a pistol or the Shorty 12 gauge. The only other pistol which I've not included here is the G18, but that's just because of personal preference and I don't like it. Here we have, in my opinion, the best two options for a secondary weapon. The first, the Shorty 12G, and the second, the best pistol, in my opinion, the PP26. Now, the Shorty 12G is actually the one I use, but the advantages of it is that it has a one-shot kill, potentially up to 16 meters, which is actually amazing for a sniper rifle. But it only has 3 rounds, so you're going to have to be constantly reloading, just spamming that reload button in between shots. The limiting factor is, though, that it's close quarter combat only, but let's face it, what kind of secondary weapon, apart from the Magnum, would you be using for medium to long range combat? Then the PP26 has 16 rounds in a magazine, which is quite the advantage, really. It fires 320 rounds more per minute, and gives you options for longer ranges, and a suppressor obviously, but it doesn't have that instant kill factor, which is a massive advantage, so it really is up to personal preference, but I choose the Shorty 12G for killing those campers and just any kind of enemy which I need a dispatch of. As I say though, it is really up to personal preference. It's just really, you need to try it both before you can make an educated decision on which one suits you best for your playstyle. So once you've decided on your secondary weapon, it's time to look at the aggressive recon kits and gadgets. This really sets apart the aggressive recon from a regular sniper and allows the aggressive recon to play for the objective in the way it should. Now that's using C4 and motion balls effectively in any situation possible to gain the advantage on the enemy and using your sniper rifle like an assault rifle. But anyway, let's take a look at these gadgets. So the motion balls encourages staying on the move and monitoring where every single player in the map is whilst playing aggressively, which allows you to get the beat on them and get extra headshots and just generally get extra kills by being aware where everyone is so you can complete the objective. Then C4, as you'll see later in a clip, can be used to manipulate the environment, kill players, just generally do anything to open up paths and play the objective better, which is really exactly what an aggressive recon should be looking to do. So this encourages playing aggressively as well. And then the Spec Ops provides benefits for the motion balls and the C4, which is vital for playing an aggressive recon. So that's exactly what I've chosen to use, and I feel that these are the best gadgets because they encourage what I feel is playing an aggressive recon, which is what playing the objective with a sniper rifle and using a sniper rifle as an assault rifle. The thing about being an aggressive recon is that these gadgets actually facilitate that. It's not the aggressive weapon or the secondary, which is designed for close quarters. It's these gadgets. So having a tugs, which encourages camping, and the radio beacon, which encourages multiple spawning in the same position, does not make you an aggressive recon if you're using these sniper rifles. Being an aggressive recon means using these gadgets, the C4 and the motion sensor, to focus you on the objective, and I really don't see how you can use the tugs and the radio beacon in the same way and be focused on the objective because they're mutually exclusive. So if you're going to become an aggressive recon, you're going to have to use these gadgets and get used to how to use them effectively. So guys, the final thing would just be the grenade slot, and that's just personal opinion or what's the latest thing to be nerfed, but at the moment I think the RGO Impact is better than the V40 minis, so I'd recommend using that. I really hope that you've valued my loadout and that you try out aggressive recon. But apart from that, it's a bye bye from Thewmetat, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.